Well, I thought we'd talk about now where I am, I guess. I'm at kind of the tail end of this, but middle age or middle adults, midlife or middle of your life. Okay. And that's the ages from 40 to 65. Okay. And so let's see. Let's see. Come on. I guess we'll have to click here. Okay. The physical development. Let's do it this way. That's better. Okay. Uh, Slight weight gain. I haven't lost my hair. People do. Um, Glasses. You might start to wear glasses. Your youthful appearance. Hormones. Testosterone, estrogen. You might be losing those things, okay, or a decrease in those things. We are less likely to feel negative effects about aging if we're taking, you got to take care of your health. You won't be upset as much, doing things, stay active, keep a positive attitude. Three-quarters of the battle of life is trying to walk around with a positive attitude. Menopause is for, obviously that's a woman's issue. It's the stoppage of the menstrual cycle to produce the feminine hormones. It's usually around age 50 and it lasts for a few years. Some of the things might cause is hot flashes, feelings of hot or chills or rapid heart rate, mood swings in women during this time. It can be really severe for some women, and it can really cause a huge problem. So, if whenever you start to go through this, go to the doctor, make sure that you're okay. And if you're having some of those issues, they'll be glad to help you. Men, we lose testosterone. Our moods change a little bit. We don't have the mood swings as bad as maybe women do, but we do lose our strength and what we think is our manhood sometimes. So I understand that. I think with becoming in the middle life, you are ability to judge because you have experience in some situations that, when you're right out of high school or right out of college, you have no idea how to handle some things. Sometimes your memory will decline in some regards. Not always, but it does happen. I guess I've been pretty lucky with that. Development of adulthood, the sandwich, middle-aged parents who must care for their children and aging parents. We're kind of like that right now. Our parents are, they have lived past the normal age. My father-in-law is 89, my mom's 88, my mother-in-law is 83, I think. So, yeah. So, it's really tough. And if your kids are right in college or right coming out of college, maybe they're staying at home. I mean, you've got it, you're sandwiched. That's the idea. You're sandwiched in between. Sometimes adult children are increasingly dependent on middle-aged parents due to living away from home, finding keeping a job, divorce, separation. Sometimes parents are taking care of their grandbabies. That maybe it's a situation where mom or dad is really struggling right now, and the parents jump in, and instead of being the grandparent, they're being the parent, and that's tough. I get that. So, someone is probably going to go through this in their lifetime. Midlife crisis, people say that. Demands of being of you. There's signs of midlife crisis in men. You can see this here. and signs of midlife crisis in women. Um, you know, some things that happen. I think that's normal. Um, you need to talk to somebody. You need to, talk to somebody. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a therapist. It's okay to just talk about how you feel and what you're going through. If you had a therapist when you were young, it's okay to talk to somebody about, hey, I'm struggling with, okay, how do we put him or her through college and take care of my parents and get ready for retirement? That's a lot, okay? So it's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to have a crisis or to struggle through it. I mean, I guess I know people go, why would you be happy about struggling? But sometimes those struggles teach you more than you realize. I'm a football coach, and the analogy is the greatest coaching is not when you're undefeated. The greatest coaching is when you're 1-10. Those are the moments of great coaching. Okay? So in life, because life beats you up, how you handle it, okay, and go through it. It's not easy. It's hard. The empty nest, we are kind of there. It's tough. I think it's tougher. I don't know. I think it's tough. This is the male perspective. I think it's tougher on moms than it is dads, because moms are just, oh man, they give everything. And when then there's no one there, all it is him, and he doesn't need that much. You feel useless. I would think. I don't know. As a father, you feel like you need to be needed. But I also know in the back of my head as a father, hey, it's time to move on. You've got to go live your life. So those things happen in life. Older adults, I guess I'm there, or getting to be. We accept change. We do like new opportunities. We don't mind trying something new. A loss of elasticity in the skin results in wrinkling. You're going to get wrinkles. I'm sorry. That's just, I guess that's age. Your muscles, you're not going to be able to, wow, I ran yesterday, a marathon and I'm good today. You might not be good today. Osteoporosis, your bones are weaker, you're more fragile. Circulatory system, your heart, so you have to think about those things. Sometimes you're diminished of hearing, your vision, when you're wearing glasses, taste, smell, that might happen. I think this is the one that scares everyone to death. Not arthritis, but losing your sight a little bit, but the scary one's Alzheimer's. That scares me because I can't picture looking at my wife, let's say 20 years from now, I'll be 82, and I don't know who she is. That's a struggle, and I apologize if you know somebody that's gone through that. Sometimes our mental abilities do decline a little bit. Staying focused, we do have memory loss. That's just part of getting old, whether I like to say it or not. I think you can do better if you remain active, whether it's church, groups, friends. Do stuff. Go play golf with your friends. Whatever you can do with your family and friends, go do it. Don't be a couch potato. Don't just sit there and watch Gunsmoke for the next 20 years. Okay? I know you guys have no idea what Gunsmoke is. Okay, you're not vernacular. Friends or Stranger Things. How's that? Pick something. Okay? Retirement. It's tough. I'm now 62. I have to think about that in the next few years. What do I want to do? I want to do some, I want to relax, but I also want to do things I want to do. I want to volunteer, help others, all those things. I think that's something that's very important. Maybe that you might have to move in with your kids, or go to a retirement community, or low-cost housing. Those things, you have to think about them, or you don't want to think about them, but you have to think about them at times. This is the tough one. Facing terminal illness or death, hospice. When you met my friend Eric, his wife was in hospice care at the end of her life, the last maybe 2 or 3 months. My uncle was in hospice care when he died of leukemia. So that's something you have to think about. That luckily they got to be home and not in a hospital, so that was the piece, I guess, of that. But that's part of the stuff that you don't think about till it's boom, it's there. And I don't want you to freak out about it, but know that we're going to be there one day. Okay, and how are we going to handle it? Wait till how are you going to handle it with your parents going through it? It's tough. There's stages of dying. There are. And there's different stages and different ways of how people handle it. Okay? These are it. Denial, anger, depression. Then you bargain about it, and then you finally accept it. I mean, you'll vacillate between all 5 of those. Okay, that's just life. You're going to be angry. It's tough. I don't look forward to when my mom passes away, or my wife, or the kids. It's not. If I'm around and they're gone, it's not going to be pretty. I'm not going to be good. Please, I don't mean that mean. I'm going to struggle, because I'm going to be at denial. I'm going to be at anger. I'm going to be at depression. I'm going to be at every one of those. I have on my cell phone, when my uncle passed away, about a couple months before he passed away, he left me a voicemail, and I can't delete it, because I get to hear him talk to me, and that's important, just to hear his voice. So it is important. How you move on, the death of a loved one, it's tough. You gotta adjust. If your spouse happens to pass away relatively early, maybe they want you to remarry. If I were to drop dead tomorrow, I don't want my wife alone. Okay, I want her to find somebody that loves her as much as I do, and that's important to me. That I want her to be loved and cared for. So, I'm not trying to depress you. These are just things we have to think about. And some of you can't drive yet. I get that. And I get, you're like, dude, you're old. Yes, I am. And I'm talking about stuff that's not for you yet. I get that. But please know people are struggling with any of these things. And that eventually you might be in one of these categories, or in one of these slides. Maybe you lose hair. Maybe your sight's really bad. Maybe you lose a spouse. Maybe you have to care for your parents and they move in with you. All those are going to happen. Not all those are going to happen. Someone in this room is going to be affected by any of those things. Okay? So think about it. This was just eye-opening, hopefully, to you. There is a quiz over this slideshow, and it's a Google form. You'll click into the bottom here. Let me escape. It'll be right here. Hold on. Yeah, there's a quiz right there. You just take it and take the quiz. And then please type in your score when you finish to tell me what your score is. Please be honest, because I do get to see it and I will know if you cheated or not. So, okay. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.